We're going to start this out with a question. How did R. Kelly getting a life sentence? R. Kelly is a 55-year-old man and he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. What? 30 years in prison is like a life sentence to him. The government wants to make an example out of R. Kelly. Just because you give him 30 to 20 years to 40 years doesn't solve the child exploitation in this country. What? People with diabetes likely don't live that long. There's no justification for a consecutive sentence. When he's serving a life sentence, the United States of America is tromping on R. Kelly's Fifth Amendment rights and being way more concerned in press conferences. Nobody mentions Hugh Hefner and Elvis, and they're still getting praised to this day. What? The government created a conspiracy to convict R. Kelly. It changed the whole course of his trial. The law isn't supposed to break the law to get a conviction. You might say, what this done to R. Kelly? It violated his constitutional rights, his due process. Being a human doesn't matter anymore. They violated all rights. R. Kelly never had a chance. It's not about what R. Kelly wants us to do. It's about the law. If it happened to R. Kelly, it can happen to you. What? The BOP officer illegally accessed R. Kelly's federal restriction information 153 times. The real criminal is Tasha K, an internet blogger. She made a lot of money off of receiving R. Kelly's private emails. Let me ask you a question. Who gets to make money off of sharing federal restricted law enforcement information? Who gets to commit federal crimes and get away with it? The BOP officer spent 6 months receiving R. Kelly's emails and sharing it with Tasha K. What? The correctional officer who linked the emails ironically retired. Tasha K and the BOP officer shouldn't be allowed to tamper with the federal witness, Azriel. The impact of their unlawful conduct weighed heavily on the outcome of R. Kelly receiving a guilty verdict and getting a 30-year sentence. If the system doesn't take care of Tasha K and the BOP officer, karma will. What? All I know is I didn't see or hear no victims going to the police with claims against R. Kelly until she deemed him guilty and tried to railroad him by giving schemers and liars a platform. Tasha K was relentless that the Me Too movement got involved. Then it was Lifetime, and we even saw the police beg for witnesses. What? Then they created a hotline for everybody to call in. Miss Bonzine stated her client, Mr. Robert Kelly, who is black, was singled out for behavior that white rock stars has been getting away with for decades. None of them have been prosecuted, and none of them will die in prison. The government has a racial obsession with securing R. Kelly to die in prison. What? As white artists has been sleeping with minors like Elvis Presley, like Hugh Hefner, aren't that heavily prosecuted. And let's go to Gail and Oprah. Gail and Oprah have been steadily destroying black successful men in the industry for years. When you jump at money for an interview to try to tarnish someone's reputation, It won't lead to anything good. Miss Gail, that was so unkind for you to be at R. Kelly's home and you treated him somewhat like a kind of a criminal of sorts. Please be reminded, Gail Annual salary was increased by $5 million less than 2 months after that interview. Tell Gail this is not about abuse. This is about fornication, greed, lies, and betrayal, extortion. But the laws are now what the prosecutors and the judge says they are. Integrity done left the building. R. Kelly needs a fair trial without witness tampering. So it's RICO and racketeering if you're rich. Or there's a rumor. Why did you get life, R. Kelly? Ask Oprah, ask Gail, or the judge, Ann Donnelly. The government comparison to professional traffickers and child porn is unfair. The government should just tell everyone the truth. This was all a setup from the very beginning. What? Think about it. A hotline where anyone can call and get money from a civil suit, that doesn't sound right. Meeting at homes, well, that's a way the government can coach them into saying whatever they want to have more weight on the government side. What? Although sex was a weapon used, this is not a case about sex. This was not a RICO or Racketeering Act violation. All I can tell you is there was no enterprise. It was one man with allegations by a number of women, which doesn't make it an enterprise. And that is why R. Kelly is not guilty of racketeering. This type of injustice is unacceptable and must be stopped by any means. What? Here it is. The law breaking the law. And what did Prince say? If you don't own your masters own you. What? Any law broken should be investigated. On the behalf of R. Kelly, I'm asking you to write the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of the Inspector General, and I'm going to give you the address, 950 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C., 20530. And there's also a link for R. Kelly supporters. JusticeRKelly.weebly.com. Free Rob now. Give him his money and his life back and go arrest the real criminals. What? And like always, I love you. Stay out the way of the ops, the police. And now we rise.